Hello, so today I'll be talking about the newest EP from TAMTAM called Ramble in the Rainbow. Prior to this, they have two other EPs, the most recent of which came out, I believe, in 2020. And they have five previous albums as well, with also the most recent being, in actually, I believe, 2019. TAMTAM has always had elements of reggae and dub in their music. However, the band has somewhat shifted away from that with this project. This EP does reintroduce some of the elements of their previous albums, but it also kind of adds its own like dark kind of, laid back texture to it, which is very different from songs from their most recent album, We Are the Sun. I first started listening to this band in 2018 after their release of the album Modern Love. Modern Love was a great introduction to the band as it showed a lot of their very varied elements that they include in their music. I think there was a rap song, of course it was reggae and dub like I said. That was when they really started leaning in towards more neo-soul. There was a lot of horns, just all kinds of like various elements of instrumentation and production that they kind of experimented with, and that I think they pulled off very well, even if there are a few weird songs that I don't think really stand up. Their following album, which I just mentioned, We Are the Sun, while not my favorite, did have some highlights sound-wise that have carried over onto this album, which I'm very happy about. So with that, let's talk about the songs on this album. The first song, Doors, really acts as a fantastic opener for the new sound that the band is experimenting with in this EP. I find that it really allows you to just kind of dip your toes into the sound that they're experimenting with and kind of forms a good basis for what you can expect for the rest of the album. In particular, I think the bassist and the drummer really play off each other well in this song, and while the vocals and production sort of make this laid-back vibe, the bass and the drums just really keep it all held together concisely and keep it moving with a pretty strong pace. This song also made me think back to 2013 era Toro y Moi, and I thought this especially with the inclusion of those string arrangements that are kind of throughout this song and just kind of the sound of the synths in general. And with that, let's move on to the next one. The second song is called Go Down the Mountain. It's got this fantastic leading synth melody that resolves in a really satisfying way. And I think they really were able to capture what makes a good end to a song here. I'll talk about it later, but some of their songs just don't end well. And that's kind of consistent throughout their entire discography. So it's nice to see them finally hitting the mark. So props to them for that. There is a second melody in this album that I think is just really enrapturing, and it plays off that first melody just incredibly well as well. And again, I really have to give props to the keyboardist and the drummer here. I think they do just a fantastic job just kind of keeping everyone else on the same page and just kind of acting as conductors kind of in a way for the other musicians. And speaking of the keyboardists too, I feel like some of the work by the keyboardist on this song would really like impress Rick Wakeman from Yes. I just feel like they're so just like fun and creative that I think it's something he would legitimately enjoy. The third song, Ramble in the Rainbow, is the title track for this EP, and it's also probably the best song on this album in my opinion. It's got great downbeat guitars just throughout the whole song. The percussion arrangement, fantastic too. In a way, it kind of reminds me of a song from Kanye's 2019 album, Jesus is King. It sort of feels like this religious sort of experience. Like it started off as a poem, maybe, and it seems very genuine and very heartfelt. And I think that's really what the instrumentation and production kind of needed for this song. It sounds hopeful, it sounds moving, it sounds kind of just bright in general, and I just think it fits the lyrics super well. So the next song, Nue, is kind of this like progressive indie alternative rock neo-soul song. It's got a great guitar riff, which kind of reminds me of In Rainbows by Radiohead, which is, I mean, maybe intentional given the name of the album. The vocals on this song, like others on this album, are really non-fantastical and fit the album very well. Like, they're very subdued. I just find that they're very, like, low-key, and they're not really trying to, stand out. They're kind of working in tandem with the music, and they kind of get lost in the production as well, which I will touch on a little bit later in this video, but I think it really works for this song in particular. Additionally, I think this song kind of marks this sort of large, smooth, downward slope that the album is now kind of heading towards, but it still has some kind of like nice twists and turns on this descent, which is kind of made up by the instrumentation, primarily from the guitarist. In general, I think this song has a fantastic solo up on the back end. However, it does kind of end in an unsatisfying way. So for that reason, it's not my favorite on the album. I do respect the instrumentation, like I said, but I feel like they need to work on how they end songs, and that is also kind of shown in the next one as well. So the final song is called Distant Look, and it's a bit different from the other songs in that it feels really like a palate cleanser. It's very light, it's very airy, it's not as kind of moody or trying to go for a certain sort of ambience. It's just kind of like a happy, like, dancing song, right? Especially with this kind of musical motif that plays throughout the song, and is also how the song ends, with the bow, 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 bow. I think that is really cool. I wish maybe the song didn't end that way, or maybe they used it less sparingly throughout the album, because it's kind of this, like, I can't really put my finger on it, but it kind of has this menacing sort of sound to it in an otherwise very light sort of song. So I don't know why they chose to go with such like a menacing motif like that for such a like happy sounding song, but we can't change it. So in general, I will say that this is just an irresistibly great neo-soul song. So kudos to them for that. So although this album has a lot of pros, there are also some cons I'd like to touch on as well. Primarily, the vocal mixing could be a lot better on this album. It is in line with their previous work, but I found that I really couldn't translate the lyrics on my own because I just had no idea what they were saying a lot of the time. So when I did find lyrics, I found those to be just a miracle because I just could not hear the vocalist throughout a lot of the mixing. And it almost seems intentional. Like I said, this is how some of their other albums sound too, but just not to this degree. And I kind of get that maybe they wanted the vocals to really just be absorbed by the production and just kind of sound like this like stream of consciousness of music. But I would really prefer to hear what the lyrics are, considering that the lead singer is such a great writer and vocalist. So that kind of disappointed me. And this is a stupid con, even in my opinion, but I wanted to mention it anyway. Since this is so unlike their other work, I really wish this was longer. So it being an EP, I mean, like, I can't really ask for it to be longer because they obviously very intentionally meant for it to be kind of a bite-sized album. But I would really kill for at least like 3 or 4 more songs. And I'm hoping that this isn't just like a momentary sort of diversion for the band. I'd really like for them to flesh out this kind of sounding project again, even if it's maybe just another single or two. I think that if this did have more songs like this on the album, it would probably be my favorite TAMTAM album just in general. So that's kind of disappointing, but obviously this was intentional. So, you know. And with that, those are my thoughts on the album. Thank you for watching. I hope this wasn't too long, and because this is no TikTok video. This is not a 10-second video. So thank you for watching. I hope to follow this up with another soon. And you can keep watching this channel for the following videos to discuss just more Japanese music in general. So thank you very much.